Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by the driver of the number 45 Auto Parkit Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports Force. We're talking about Lawless Alan. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Getting ready for the season, and I know you are too. But what's it been like for you? I know you've been doing some traveling lately, but over the off season, I know you've been doing a bunch of racing stuff, but how exciting is it to get this all ready to go?
I'm really excited to get the season started. Like you said, I've been traveling a lot. Hasn't been too much of an off season, especially coming up now. We're testing the TA2 car at Sebring this coming up weekend, and then I have a legend race the weekend after that. So I'm still staying busy for sure, but I'm just really excited to get to Daytona and get the season started. All these posts from Nice and myself of the this past truck season just makes me want to get back in it.
Yeah, especially so. So the interesting thing is, and I know we talked about this when we last time we had you on, but it obviously a lot has changed since we talked. But now you guys are a 4-truck team. Of course, you, Dean Thompson, Carson Hosevar, and Chris Wright. How exciting is it to work with these guys, work with everybody there? Because what Al and Cody have done has been really tremendous to see what that organization has become. But what's it like when working with that organization? Also, your 3 teammates. What have you guys talked about? A lot of stuff. What have you guys really been doing this off season?
Well, I love working with Nice. The group of guys there is great. Just feels like a big old family. But I've known Carson for a few months now since the season, and he's really cool to work with. He's been very forthcoming with like information, trying to help me out on the trucks and the simulator. So he's been super helpful. I've known Dean for a long time. I've raced against him at Irwindale and late models a bunch of times. So he's a good driver. We get along. So it's cool to have somebody that I've known for a while on the team with me now. And Chris Wright, he actually ran the first 2 weekends of the Legend Road Course series with the same team that I ran. So I got to know him. He's a really funny guy. He's really smart. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think we got a good squad lined up, and I think Nice is going to be really, really good this year.
Okay, so I know that a lot of things that are still getting put together. Do you know who your crew chief is?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know if I can say.
Let's
now that I think
rather
about it.
not, because let's not get into another one of those things again. So obviously that will be out there for sure. But overall, going into this season, I know that Auto Parkit, of course, has been with you for forever. I know it's the company that I know. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. It's a company that started by your family, if I'm not mistaken.
It is a family company, yeah.
Okay. Are you going to redo the commercial you did?
Yes, we got more commercials lined up coming, which is unfortunate for me because I did not enjoy filming the last one, mostly because there was, if you guys have seen it, the one where I'm driving my late model through the parking structure, it had to be filmed when everything was shut down. So like the middle of the night. And I couldn't even drive it because every time I fired it up, every car alarm in the place started going crazy. So obviously we can't film with every car alarm going off. So I mean, they turned out great. So I'm a little more enthusiastic about it because I know what the end result will look like. But yeah, we do have more commercials and things like that lined up.
Are you going to use the 45 truck now since you're in that?
I actually don't know. I think the 45 truck will have its place. But we still have our late model, so it might just be easier to use that. But that part's not up to me. I just drive and
That's good.
and announce.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, so for people that do not know, what is Auto Park?
Auto Park It is like essentially a vending machine for cars. So you drive into a stall or a garage of some kind, you get out, answer questions like my doors aren't open, it's not on, basic stuff like that. And then you get out and leave, and the system takes your car, puts it somewhere else. Then when you want it back, you wave your ticket or key fob or whatever it might be. And then it'll bring it right back to you. And then you just drive out. If you want to know more, go to autoparkit.com to watch videos and see the commercial and just see how the thing works. It's
Yeah, definitely.
incredibly interesting to see.
It is. And if you've watched the Arkham Menard series, any Arkham Menard series race on Mav TV, I know that they put, yeah, I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
Watching ARCA races. It's like, yeah, I know. It's, yeah. And now, of course, you've talked about that commercial so many times when you've been on here and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. But now that this is kind of like the big kind of season for you, this is your first, kind of full-time year. I know you've been racing for a long time, but this is your first full-time season in trucks.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going to be the biggest challenge for you entering in as we're just weeks away from Daytona?
I think the biggest challenge will be being as aggressive as those guys and not wrecking myself. I think there's a very fine line of being aggressive enough and too aggressive. And the too aggressive will get you wrecked. And aggressive enough will gain you spots. So that combined with late race pit stops where you need to be right on the cusp of speeding and not speeding. I think those two things will be the most difficult it'll take the most time to really understand the balance. But I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to the challenge and just ready to wheel.
For sure. Any tracks you're looking forward to?
I love Pocono and I love Darlington. Those two tracks are really, really fun when I drove them and I had no practice. They're just so fast.
Mhm.
And Darlington, you're just riding the wall the whole time. I'm actually looking forward to Homestead too, now that I think about it.
Yeah, of course, Homestead will be later on in the season, so
Yeah.
that should be fun for sure because, of course, the trucks did not go to Homestead last year.
Yep.
Are you ready? I know that for the first time, I'm like, I can't remember the truck series being in your home state of California. Of course, they're going back to Sonoma. I know how much you love road courses. Actually, the first time I met you was at Trans Am in Detroit a few years ago. So, but of overall, you got Coda coming up, a track that you're very familiar with. Mid Ohio for the first time ever, the trucks are going there. And then, of course, you got Sonoma, where the trucks haven't been in a long time.
Yeah.
How exciting is it to be a part of that as well as just road course racing in general?
I love that I get to be a part of the expansion into road courses. And as you know, and as probably most of these listeners know, I'm very familiar with road courses, and I think that they're a blast. I drove Mid Ohio in an endurance series this year. So for 16 hours of racing, there's 2 8-hour races. Sonoma, I haven't driven in a few years since my ARCA West race there, but I've driven that track twice. And as you said, Coda, I'm familiar with having driven it in the trucks in the rain this past year. So I'm really excited. I wish there was more. If we went to tracks like VIR, because that's my favorite road course.
Of course, you'd say that.
That's my favorite road course. So I'm always for whatever series I'm driving going to it. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be doing these road course races, and I'm excited to be doing dirt for the first time.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's just, I think it's just gonna be a really fun year.
Yeah. First full-time season for you. So pretty exciting there. What's the biggest, I know the biggest thing you talked about, I want to go back to something you said earlier. Talking about, the story of the truck series, especially in the last few races when talking to, just, all my, media friends who cover the sport, has been the aggression of the truck series. What's that going to be like to deal with going through the season?
I don't know. I've, in my experience so far in the trucks, we haven't had qualifying.
Right,
Uh, so I've always started towards the back, and the aggression level there is much different than up at the front.
right,
Uh, I think it's gonna be a learning curve for sure. Most not in getting hit or getting past, but in my ability to hit and pass. Cause generally that's not how I race. Like even in the legends, I don't really use the bumper if I don't have to. So we're gonna have to tone that up in order to be competitive in the trucks. And that's what I'm working on in the Legend Road Course series this year is like just tuning the aggression up, not wrecking people or anything, but just tune it up, sticking my nose in somewhere if I have the room, and just trying to make it happen, just to get back in the. This past year has been just relax, get laps so that we're prepared for next year. So we really just getting back in that aggression, every spot matters mindset.
absolutely. All right. Lawless Alan, thank you so much for joining us. And I know I've said this for a couple times, but I know how excited you are to get ready to get going in the Truck Series season and to go to Daytona. So gonna be a fun year for you. Good luck at Daytona. We're definitely gonna have you on sometime later on this year.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for having me.